All right, guys. So there was a ER physician who went on Chris Cuomo's show to discuss the policy around lockdown slash reopening when it comes to getting the vaccine. Okay. And the things that she said in this little segment here is kind of saying out loud a lot of things that people have feared, right? In regards to, again, the public policy debate regarding vaccines and reopening. Okay. And a lot of people who listen to this probably don't like the idea of freedom being tied to taking a vaccine. Okay. The government policy of that. Now, again, I'm emphasizing this because this video is about public policy, right? I'm not making any claims regarding the vaccine whatsoever, right? I just got to make sure I'm doing this disclaimer so nobody gets it twisted in terms of what this video is about. It's about public policy. So let's listen to Dr. Leana Wen discuss this public policy, because she's going to say out loud what a lot of people have probably been thinking. Let's take a listen.
We're not going to reach herd immunity because of vaccine hesitancy. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to believe who desperately want the vaccine right now. And they're thinking, oh, well, it's just a small percentage of people who are actually anti-vaxxers. And that's true. There is the anti-science, anti-vaxxer contingent. But I think that there are many more people, millions of people who, for whatever reason, have concerns about the vaccine, who just don't know what's in it for them. And we need to make it clear to them that the vaccine is the ticket back to pre-pandemic life. And the window to do that is really narrowing. I mean, you were mentioning, Chris, about how all these states are reopening. They're reopening at 100%. And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway. And I fear a situation of coming into the fall where we never reach herd immunity. And then we get hit by the next surge of COVID-19 in the fall.
All right, guys. So what she's saying there, to me, it sounds like she's saying that with all these states reopening, right? And the Democrats are saying that states are reopening too early. Okay. She's saying that what happens is that there's a small window in which the federal government can essentially tie freedom to vaccination status. If all these states continue to open up and people can just do what they want, then there's no incentive to get the vaccine, right? And she's essentially advocating for the Biden administration to start marketing the vaccine as basically a freedom pass, okay? Now, a lot of people may see this as nefarious, right, in some way. And quite honestly, guys, I really don't know. But, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here and to say that it's not nefarious. But I disagree with her, right? I disagree with her on this. Because at the end of the day, it should be about freedom. The federal government should not have to force people to get a vaccine just so they can be free, just so that they can live their lives, just so we can go back to normal. Right? When she talks about dangling a carrot in front of people, she's talking about dangling the carrot of freedom, right? Dangling freedom in front of people. And to me, that's just not right, right? It's just not right. Because, again, this video is about the policy, right? It's all about public policy. The vaccine's efficiency should speak for itself. It should speak for itself. If the vaccine's effective, which all the signs point to that it is, right? The data points to that it is, then people should be able to make their own choices and decide if they want to take it or not, right? They should be able to take calculated risk with their lives if they want to, right? If people look at the numbers, they say, okay, this is, the virus, right? These are how many people have been affected. These are the symptoms. These are how many people that have died from it. This is the death rate. Okay. Also, you have the option to take the vaccine. People can take all that information and decide for themselves whether or not they want to move forward with the vaccine, whether or not they feel like it's necessary for them, right? Like for me, for example, personally, I'm young, right? And, I've already had it. And, personally, I'm going to wait longer than most of the population, if I can, to take it, because at the end of the day, there are probably people that are more needy than me that need it, right? So I'm going to wait, right? And also, she cannot underestimate people that feel weary about it because, hey, a lot of people feel like it was rushed, right? A lot of people are like, this thing kind of seemed to be moving a little bit fast. I just want to have a wait and see approach, right? And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. People should have the right to decide what they want to do with their bodies. And what happens is that when you have public policy officials like, Miss Leana here comes out and says stuff like this, it just makes people think that, there's more to what's going on than actually what it is. That's all it does. That's all it does. Because tying freedom to vaccination status essentially seems to be forced vaccination. That's kind of what it seems like. Of course, people are going to want to be free. People are going to want to go back to normal. But tying that to vaccination status, again, I just think that that's a step in an authoritarian direction that a lot of people claim that's what President Trump was doing. And see, and this is why the media narrative regarding Trump's handling of COVID is just so twisted. It's just so twisted, right? Because they call him a fascist and authoritarian. But yet, when he had the opportunity to be an authoritarian, right, to exert authoritarian type policies in the name of, public health and safety, he didn't do it. He said, listen, to each his own. I'll let the individual states decide how they want to handle it. And, some individual states decided, I'll let the people decide how they want to handle it. That's freedom. You're responsible for your own health. It shouldn't be up for the government to force you to make certain health decisions, right? Lots of people die from obesity every single year. It probably one of the number one risk factors for cancer, that and smoking. But I don't want to ban fast food. I don't want to ban cigarettes. Or better yet, I don't want to force people to eat healthy food, right? I don't want to force people to eat healthy food just because obesity is bad, right? Those people are taking calculated risks. When you choose to go to McDonald's and eat a burger, and eat bad food, then you're taking a calculated risk. Just like if somebody chooses not to be vaccinated, they're taking a calculated risk. Or if they want to wait a little bit longer. I have no problem with the government encouraging people to exercise or encouraging people to eat healthy, right? Or incentivize it in some way that's not tied to freedom, right? Just like I don't have a problem with the government encouraging people to take the vaccine. They should encourage people to take it, right? If it's for the betterment of public safety and health, I have no problem with it. But the problem comes when it's now being tied to something that everybody wants, which is freedom, right? That's the line, okay? That's the line. And there's a big difference between encouragement and coercion. Okay, it's okay to encourage, but it's not okay to coerce, right? And what she's talking about, in my opinion, sounds almost like coercion. I would argue that the incentive for people to take the vaccine when the country is open up, right, or when all these states are open up, is the fact is their own health decision, right? Them calculating, okay, this is what I perceive the risk is, and whether or not they want to take that risk. That's what the incentive is. It's the same incentive that people have when it comes to any other type of vaccines. For example, people's decision whether or not to take the flu vaccine, right? People decide, okay, you know what? I might get the flu this year. The flu can be deadly, right? And people can decide, okay, do I want to risk getting it or do I want to take the vaccine and be covered? People make that same risk every single year, and society has been fine with it. But now all of a sudden, and I get it, COVID is something new. There's a lot of things we don't know about it. There's a lot of unknowns. I understand. But to me, in my opinion, I really don't understand why you can't let people make their own decisions, because those who feel that they're at high risk, right? So example, like the elderly, people with, with pre-existing conditions, a lot of those people have already got it. A lot of those people have already made the mental decision that, okay, I'm at risk, I'm at high risk, right? I should probably go take it. And they did, right? That's who they're supposed to be targeting. So if you got all those people covered, why is it that you want to bend over backwards to mandate people who are lower risk and who've made calculated decision that they just don't want to take it or they want to wait? Why do you feel the need to tie that to reopening? Why can't you just let those people make their own decisions, especially if the most at risk of us have already been covered or should have been covered, right? That to me, again, it doesn't make sense. But, I could be missing the mark on this, right? She could just be talking about marketing, right? She could be talking about how the Biden administration is marketing the vaccine. Who knows, right? She could be saying Biden needs to market it as basically, hey, the more people take the vaccine, the faster you go take it, the faster that, everything can reopen, right? Safely, right? The more incentive that, companies and businesses and private entities have to reopen, right? To ease up on some of the restrictions. That could also be the interpretation here. She might not necessarily be talking about, the Biden administration forcing people through basically a trade-off between freedom and getting the vaccine. Who knows? And like I said, I just want to make it clear, I'm not making any claims about the virus. I'm not making any claims about the vaccines. I am simply saying that people should have the freedom to determine what they want to put in their body. That's the whole point of this video. So I just wanted to chime in on that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.